after sitting through the discussion yesterday, I thought a good subtitle for my talk should have been WaterSense, the Antidote to Greenwashing. And I want to speak a little bit about that today. I'm going to describe the specification development process, and which we think is a good approach to having assured performance and assured water efficiency, and that's really what we want the WaterSense program to be about. So, just in terms of what I'm going to talk about today, I'll give you a little bit of a very brief overview of WaterSense. We're fortunate to have Administrator Johnson here yesterday that sort of gave some of that background. Going to give some insight into what the upcoming plans are for WaterSense products. I'm going to build on a lot of the things that Rob and others have talked about today, just in terms of the importance of product performance. We recognize that in the WaterSense program. On the technical side, we're really trying to build our methods of developing specifications around that objective. We know that the brand integrity and the just customers' acceptance and recognition of that brand over time really depends on that being an important part of how we do our business. Then I'm going to spend the bulk of the talk just kind of going through the specification development process, and associated with that, what are some of the research needs? I often get asked, Roy, why does it take so long to develop one of these specifications? Can't you get this stuff out the door faster? And the answer to that is, well, a lot of it depends on what kind of information is available for developing the specs. So I'm going to go through that process in sort of a case study format and describe what some of those needs are, because, as I said, you're the folks that we're depending on to a large degree to provide the types of technical inputs we need to develop the specifications. So, the folks in this group, this forum, and forums like that is where we go to get the information we need to develop specifications. And then we'll wrap things up. So, what is WaterSense? Here's sort of the goals of the program. WaterSense promotes the value of water and help Americans make smart decisions regarding water use and water-using products. And WaterSense aims to increase the adoption of water-efficient products and services by consumers and organizations. And how do we do that? It's with a label. We have a WaterSense label, and I was looking through my slides this morning, and I said, gee, it would have been good to show the WaterSense label, but I guess that's why I'm on the engineering staff and not in the marketing department. But actually, there's one a little bit later, so I can show you what that looks like. So how do we go about that? What do we use? What criteria do we use to decide whether or not, number one, we're going to label a product or attempt to label a product? And then as we go about that, what criteria do we use to set some of the levels or some of the parameters associated with in the specifications associated with labeling? So here are the guidelines we kind of work with. First and foremost, product needs to offer equivalent or superior performance. That's what we start with. We don't even start with water efficiency necessarily, because we, as a lot of speakers here over the past 2 days have said, that is critical. Performance, maintaining performance, or in fact improving performance is really what the consumer is looking for. That said, we are looking to achieve about a 20% or more reduction in water use over conventional models. We want the products to be applicable on a national basis, so it is a national program, and we want. So we're looking for products that can be deployed across the United States. The results have to be measurable. We sort of, I think there was a speaker yesterday talking about the 6 aspects of greenwashing, and a lot of these, I think, marry up to some of those things. We don't want a sort of a vague or an unproven level of savings. We want measurable savings to go along with the products we select for the program. We don't necessarily want to focus on proprietary technologies only. By that I mean, there can't be only one way to skin the cat. It has to be, the label has to be available to multiple manufacturers that might be approaching the problem in different ways. It's not a prescriptive kind of basis to our standard setting. the label's got to be the tool to use to differentiate the products. In some settings, and this may become more relevant in the commercial sector, maybe the label's not the right way to identify the products, yeah, so that's something that we have to keep in mind as we go through it. And then the last one's important too, and I think Administrator Johnson talked on this yesterday about really the desire to get the WaterSense brand off the ground and do it right. And we've really found, and the feedback we've been getting is, this independent certification has been a critical aspect to that, to doing that. We think we've achieved success in that arena. We've really spent a lot of effort over the past 18 months, 2 years, building the infrastructure for the program, if you will, and kind of getting our certification program built and sort of the procedures for that established has been an important part of that process. And having certification bodies be part of our participants in the program has been an important part of the structure that we've developed. So just in terms of plans, you can see it here, kind of what's been done and what is to be done. So far, what do we have on the books? We have, we've labeled certification programs for irrigation professionals. That happened in late 2006. Early 2007, we got the toilets, tank-type toilet specification out the door. And then later in 2007, we got the specification for our lavatory faucets that would be used in residential settings. So those are on the, those have been published, those specifications are out there. I think Rob gave some of the statistics on the number of participants we have in the program. There's 200 toilets labeled. Stat that was mentioned just in the last session, 2% of the market for ATTs in the first year. We were very happy with those results, considering where we are in terms of the maturity of the program. To have had that much impact on the market already, we thought was a real positive development. And again, that came through a lot of hard work from across the spectrum of partners, manufacturing partners, retailer partners, certifying bodies. Everyone participated in that success. So where are we going in the future? Kind of list of most of the products up there are active in one form or another. In the irrigation segment, we've been working on a spec for smart controllers for some time, and I'm going to go into a little more detail in one of the case studies, kind of talking about the status of that and what some of the challenges have been there. We also are looking at moisture sensors. I think that's a little bit of a ways off because that industry has to coalesce around a way to measure performance for those products before we're going to get too far down the road on that. And we've been studying drip microtechnology. We're going to need to make a decision about whether the label is the right way to go with that product category. Best practice approach might make more sense. Again, that's nothing definite has been decided on in that area, but those are some of the things we're looking at. Residential plumbing side, shower heads. Again, that's a product we've been working on some time. We announced the middle of last year the intent to develop a draft specification there. That's one of the case studies I'll talk about too, and we've had, I think, a good approach developed in developing the shower head specification, a good model I think that we can follow for other products as we go forward. We're on the research phase for water softeners. We'll see where that one ends up. On the commercial side, we'd like to do something with high efficiency toilets. The issue there is, I think the technical issue is drain line carry in that product category. I think some of that was discussed yesterday, and I think research is needed, obviously, before people are going to be confident and comfortable with moving too far down the road with flushometer style toilets. I'd like to be able to tackle that problem. I think we're going to need to work over the next many months with the folks in this room and and some others to really be looking at that from a systems standpoint to make sure we're tackling those kinds of technical questions correctly.